Okay, cool. Welcome to Restopia. Oh, let's turn him off. Oh, Fat Man Scoop. Let's pause it. Yeah, Fat Man Scoop. Thought that was good for my fat Casio G-Shock. Yeah, I got this. I've forgotten the model number. I'll take it off anyway. Oh, let's just do a quick look what it does. It's got a special trick. Look. Whoa, it's gone. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Now you see it. Whoa, no you don't. So it does go under a cuff. I can't stand it with it. It goes under a cuff, slips under a cuff. They all go under cuffs. I've never had a watch that doesn't go under a cuff. Look, it's not a super big cuff. You know, I don't, unless I had a slim fitting cuff, then maybe, but the problem is the cuff, not the watch. Anyway, yeah, so this bad boy, I've never really known, I haven't even set it yet, and I've been away. And GA-V01, GA-V01, the black one. I thought these looked pretty silly when they first came out, as everyone did. Then they started to appeal to me a bit. But what it really was, and I was tempted to get one and try it. I don't really like any of the colours. It's like there's not really a colour that I like. I'm sure there could be. There might be in the future. I don't like the see-through ones either. So I thought I'd get the black one. But the reason I got it was this. I didn't know. I think I might have heard this a while back, but recently I heard it again, and I thought I'm going to get one. Use my discount code. Is that it's sort of modelled on the original G-Shock prototype, which is basically a big black rubber ball with a module in the middle of it, which is a bit silly because if it fell that way down, it would break. Anyway, maybe it's a myth, but that sort of interested me. The fact that you know it's sort of designed around the birth of G-Shock sort of interested me, and I like big watches, and it's the black one, so it doesn't look as weird as the other ones. But talking of being big, I kind of suspected it wouldn't be as big. I've done the cuffing already, haven't I? It wouldn't be as big as I thought it was, or people say it is. I mean, maybe I'm just used to bigger watches. I've got a 7.5-inch wrist. But what have I got over here? I've got a G-Shock King. I've got the King. There's only one size of these, and they're big. Try and keep that glare off. But to me, although this measures bigger, I'll show you an interesting measurement in a minute, which is something else people say that annoys me about this, and watches generally, actually. Is because I've got a thing about lugs and lug widths and stuff. Is that this sort of feels bigger. Like they're off camera, so I can see them. Slightly on camera. Now I know this is bigger in pretty much all dimensions apart from one, which I'll show you in a minute. But this just feels bigger. I don't know if it's because of the shape and the you know the size of this is basically the bits that stick out, whereas this is really the actual watch is big. It's not as thick. Oh, get my finger out of the way. So it's not quite as thick as that one, but it feels it looks and feels in some ways. This looks and feels in some ways bigger than this. But they both are big watches. So that is, I was kind of disappointed having that. I've got a couple of Casio Kings. I've got the army looking one as well. Not the camo, but you know that sort of Hummer desert look. Having had these, I kind of wanted this to be bigger than it is, but I'm happy with how big it is. I'm happy with it. But that measurement I was going to show you, because people always say, get the old verniers out, people always say, oh, you can't measure the lug width. You can't, because all watches, even if they don't have lugs, have a lug width. You can't measure the lug width. Oh, where does it? Oh, it's stumpy or whatever. Now, that may or may not be true, but it's not true really. Well, you can't on this because where do you do it? I mean, I would say, roughly guess, I'd say it's about there. It's about 40mm lug width. But the reason that people get hung up on lug widths, Why did I say lug widths? Yeah, I did say lug widths. They're not measuring. They're measuring the lug to lug. Sorry, not the lug width. I'm not doing this video again. They're measuring the lug to lug, and they don't know where to start it. Yeah, so that's the thing they're doing. Sorry, I'm hung up on lug widths, and everything I said about all watches do have lug widths. Everything that was true, but what they're hung up about is what they're trying to measure is the lug to lug. So not that measurement, that measurement, and but that's completely irrelevant because you know, it is what it is. You can kind of see from wherever that dimension is, you could kind of work that out. So you don't actually need to know. But the reason they want to know it is because they've got little wrists. And what they want is, what watch did I take off just now? That drops down. What they want is, they want the, let's use this as an example. They want the drop, you know, where this bracelet drops immediately. So, but they want the lug to lug for the drop, so that it can, whether it fits tiny little men's wrists or not. But that's not always the important measurement. This is what I'm going to show you is the important measurement. Now, as I've said, this is bigger in all dimensions measurable pretty much that I thought of, apart from one, and that one is the realistic, I don't know what you'd call this, the realistic, let's make sure that's 0, yeah, the realistic lug, you know, possible wearing distance, the drop off. I mean, this is, what's that, 56, let's say 56. Now, this is apparently the smaller watch of the two, but this, what I would call drop off, I mean, I'm pulling these together, you know, slightly, is 71. So, although this is the smaller watch, one of the reasons it might wear as a bigger watch is that you can't, you know, you've got to have a certain size wrist to get that. Although, you know, the lug to lug might be X, if that won't compress beyond, you know, that, you've got to include that. I hope I'm explaining that correctly. So yeah, this will wear, this seems to wear bigger even though it's smaller, but the whole point is I just wanted to show off my big beefy Casios, two biggest ones, big black Casios, woof. And they both go under a wrist. This one is super slim compared to that, what did I say it was, GA-V01. Look at this slim boy. This is like one of those that's been on a diet. Let's get it on the right. I'm not pulling it super tight, but I'm getting it on the one I'd wear it on. Look at this, watch this. Now you see it. Whoa! No, you don't. No, you don't. Actually, this one probably goes under the wrist. That's a good thing, actually. That's a good point. This one is less likely to go under the wrist because of that extra. Hey, do you like it? Can you see what it is yet? Oh, no, that's not. I was trying to do Paul Daniels, but I got Rolf Harris for some reason. But yeah, this one is less likely to go under the wrist because of that fact that that dimension is tougher to get, for the cuff to get past, not the height of it, so it's not even just the what. But yeah, that whole, you know, that's gone under there. I'm not gonna not wear this because it doesn't go under a cuff, because you can see it's clearly under a cuff. Now it might not slip under there, you know, as let's put one on that will slip under there. Let's put my W8, well, put a nice blue one on. Put my W800 on. Oh, it's not the thin. Oh, I should have put. Oh, hang on. What am I doing? Let's get the AB100 or something out. That should be sized to go on my wrist. Let's put that on. Sorry, off camera. That's lovely and slim, isn't it? Look at that. Whoop. There we go. Whoop. Whoop. He's up. Whoop. Whoop. You know, I do admit. Wait, what's going on there? I do admit, my wrist must be a bit slimmer today. I do admit, you know, they slip under the cuff, you know, nicer. But, you know, they all go under the cuff, you know. You know, they just do. It's the cuff. It's not, the problem's the cuff, not the watch. But, yeah, hope you enjoyed seeing those two. But for now, one cuff, live it.